I would like to thank Zicker for hosting this tonight, Socialist Alternative, ISO, and Professor Francis Boyle.
Dershowitz, accept defeat! Off our campus, off our streets! Dershowitz, accept defeat! Off our campus, off our streets!
David Green from AWARE and the Greens and JVP, I believe, wrote a letter to the News Gazette. He cannot be here tonight. He wanted someone to read it on his behalf, and I will do that. It concerns Alan Dershowitz. Regarding the Nazi Holocaust, quote, the Palestinian leadership, with the acquiescence of most of the Palestinian Arabs, actively supported and assisted the Holocaust and Nazi Germany and bears considerable moral, political, and even legal culpability for the murder of many Jews, end quote. It's hard to imagine a less nuanced and contextualized statement regarding Israel and Palestine. Nevertheless, this is characteristic of Dershowitz's pronouncement over decades. It's similarly difficult to imagine a more mendacious, lurid, and racist statement, again typical of Dershowitz's calumnies against the Palestinians. In his own recent letter to the DI, Brown opposes divestment, but, quote, welcomes debate regarding Israel and Palestine. But welcoming Dershowitz hardly seems an appropriate means towards such an end. Not that Brown can credibly claim to be more sincere. Brown goes about engaging Israeli businesses, while Israel, with Dershowitz's support, goes about the business of gunning down unarmed protesters in Gaza with Brown's acquiescence, if not worse. Thanks again to David Green for writing that letter to the Gazette.
No justice, no peace. U.S. out of the Middle East, no justice, no peace. U.S. out of the Middle East, no justice, no peace. U.S. out of the Middle East, no justice, no peace. U.S. out of the Middle East.
Let's get to the bottom line.
Free, free Palestine.
Let's get to the bottom line.
Free, free Palestine.
Let's get to the bottom line.
Free, free Palestine.
Let's get to the bottom line.
Free, free Palestine.
Let's get to the bottom line.
Free, free Palestine.
Let's get to the bottom line.
Free, free Palestine.
When Palestine is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When Palestine is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Palestine is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
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 In addition to Palestine, Dershowitz has also advocated for U.S. intervention in Syria, as is his, what's the word I'm looking for? As he will do. Yeah, modus operandi. So let's hear what we want to hear. What we want out of Syria. What do we want?
Hands off Syria.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Hands off Syria.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Hands off Syria.
When do we want it?
Now. No justice, no peace. U.S. out of the Middle East. No justice, no peace. U.S. out of the Middle East. No
1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your racist war. 5, 6, 7, 8. Stop the killing, stop the hate. 1, 2, 3, 4.
We don't want your racist war.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Stop the killing, stop the hate.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We don't want your racist wars.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Let's get to the bottom line.
Free, free Palestine.
Woo! 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 No justice, no peace. U.S. out of the Middle East. No justice, no peace.
U.S. out of the Middle East.
No justice, no peace.
U.S. out of the Middle East.
No justice, no peace.
U.S. out of the Middle East.
No justice, no peace.
U.S. out of the Middle East.
No justice, no peace.
U.S. out of the Middle East.
And I am here to condemn not only Dershowitz, but the entire College of Law faculty for inviting him in here and sponsoring him.
Shame! Shame!
They know full well Dershowitz is a war criminal. And they could not care less. They could not care less. They invited in this war criminal on a Mossad committee. Indeed, our former dean, Hurricane Heidi Hurd, and her husband, consort Mikey Moore admitted that he works for the Mossad and the CIA. I kid you not. Dershowitz believes he's part of the Ubermensch. And the same is true for Hurricane Heidi Hurd and her consort, Michael Moore, who've been stinking up this campus and the law school and this community and the legal profession, advocating torture in and out all the time, just like Dershowitz, who's speaking in there tonight. And torture in wartime is also a war crime. We have war criminals in there under the sponsorship of the Nazi College of Law. Carl Schmitt would be proud of them all. The foremost Nazi jurist of his time, who justified every hideous atrocity Hitler and the Nazis inflicted on everyone, including the Jews. And that is exactly what Dershowitz has done to people of color all over the world, and especially Muslims of color. Now, in addition, Dershowitz has also advocated the serial destruction of Palestinian villages. Repeatedly, he has done that, including in an editorial he wrote exactly what Dershowitz has advocated to be done to Palestinians. A Nuremberg war crime right there in the Nuremberg Charter, just like the Nazis did throughout Europe during World War II. And in addition, Dershowitz published it on purpose over in Israel to incite the Israeli government to destroy Palestinian villages. The direct incitement of Nuremberg crimes is a war crime in its own right. And the College of Law, knowing this full well, nevertheless brings Dershowitz in here to advocate torture, war crimes, crimes against humanity, against Palestinians, Muslims of color in this country and all over the world. And as correctly pointed out, Dershowitz deliberately went onto Fox News to encourage Trump, their biggest fan, to bomb Syria. He incited Trump to bomb Syria. And that too was a Nuremberg crime against peace, an act of aggression, a war crime as defined by international law. And the United Nations Charter violated. The U.S. war clause of the Constitution violated. The War Powers Resolution of 1973 violated. With us today, and a Holocaust survivor. That's how shameless Dershowitz is, publicly attacking Holocaust survivors. He attacked and inflicted character assassination on Norman Finkelstein's mother, another Holocaust survivor. And finally, he destroyed Norman Finkelstein's academic career because Norman exposed him as a rank and gross plagiarist in his book Beyond Chutzpah. So this guy even does dirty work against Jews. And I note that our friends here from Jewish Voices of Peace are here as a matter of principle and opposing Dershowitz's presidency. Finally, for the last year now, as we know, Dershowitz has been running all over the country defending Trump. Think about that. Defending Trump all up and down in any way, in any capacity he can, defending Trump. All right? This is now the second, indeed, Dershowitz just bragged. Just read the News Gazette yesterday. He had dinner with Trump, giving legal advice to Trump. Okay? This is now the second Trump legal henchman that the College of Law has brought onto this campus. The last one was a high-level Trump legal apparatchik in the Trump Sessions Department of Injustice that is arguing all exactly where I stand on these issues. Indeed, they hired me to teach international law, human rights, and the laws of war. I know a war criminal when I see him, and it's Dershowitz. Hey, Dershowitz say, how many kids did you kill today? Hey, Dershowitz say, how many kids did you kill today? Hey, Dershowitz say, how many kids did you kill today? Hey, Dershowitz say, how many kids did you kill today? Thank you. Thank you.
All right. All right, thank you again. Everyone give it up for Mr. Francis Boyle.
No justice, no peace. U.S. out of the Middle East. No justice, no peace. U.S. out of the Middle East. No justice, no peace. U.S. out of the Middle East. No justice, no peace. U.S. out of the Middle East. No justice, no peace. U.S. out of the Middle East.
Can you hear me? Well,
Yes.
I'm Nick. I'm speaking independently today. And forgive if the speech is nonsensical. I wrote it rather hastily in the past few minutes, inspired in part by Professor Boyle's beautiful words. Professor Boyle, which I appreciate, always has a way of getting at the international context, as is his profession. He always shows how, at the local level, with our College of Injustice, our College of Law, supposedly, at the national level, now through the Trump administration, and at the international level, the laws serve only those who wish to break the laws. The law is selective. The law only will entreat with you and deal your justice if the U.S. wants it to. That's true time and time again. That's been true for most of the past few centuries. Free speech, like the law, has also proven itself selective. Free speech is incidentally the topic of Dershowitz's speech tonight, if I'm not mistaken. These same bodies that decide the law decide whether or not speech is protected at the local, international, and national levels. I find it ironic that Dershowitz is in there right now arguing for the protection of the speech of the right, when, as a historian, I can tell you very decisively that against apartheid systems are frequently denied platforms, or frequently labeled racist, or frequently labeled anti-Semitic to deny them a platform. Like I said, free speech and the law are both selective. They're both also imbalanced, something I think Dershowitz is not going to consider tonight. Free speech is imbalanced in that certain people get more power through their speech than others. Dershowitz right now is in there on a literal platform. The university and the College of Law have chosen to legitimize his views and to say that this is one of the credible positions that you can hold on this subject of Israel and Palestine. They've chosen to say that tonight by getting him this platform in there. He doesn't care, of course, about imbalanced power in free speech. Anybody who's familiar with his views on Palestine and Israel will know that he doesn't seem to notice power imbalances, as he frequently argues that somehow Palestine and Israel are of the same strength, even though Israel has the full backing of the most powerful military on the planet, frequently receives billions in aid from the U.S. So I just wanted to point out that these things are not so balanced and just as we might think they are, that free speech laws and that international laws historically have served the right and will continue to do so unless we keep having actions like this. This right here is free speech. This right here is changing the balance and making it an actually balanced battle for free speech between the left and the right. That's all I really have to say, but I just want to give now one of my favorite chants. Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Norman Finkelstein published a book with the University of California Press, a most distinguished press, criticizing Dershowitz and definitively proving that Dershowitz is a plagiarist. Okay? What did Dershowitz do? He set out to persecute Norman Finkelstein, a fellow Jew. And then he got Finkelstein denied tenure at DePaul University that says it's Catholic, all right? And then got Finkelstein fired and destroyed Norman's entire academic career. Norman can no longer get into a tenured track slot anywhere in this country or even abroad.
Shame.
Now, that's free speech for Alan Dershowitz. If you criticize him, he will destroy you, as he did Norman Finkelstein, and don't ever forget it. Thank you.
If we don't get it,
Shut it down.
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 what do we want?
Hands off Syria.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Hands off Syria.
When do we want it?
Now.
Endless war,
Shut it down.
the whole damn system.
Shut it down.
Dershowitz lies,
Shut it down.
imperialism,
Shut it down.
endless war,
Shut it down.
the whole damn system.
Shut it down. Hey, hey, Dershowitz say, how many kids did you kill today? Hey, hey, Dershowitz say, how many kids did you kill today? Hey, hey, Dershowitz say, how many kids did you kill today?
Let's get to the bottom line.
Free, free Palestine!
Let's get to the bottom line.
Free, free Palestine!
Let's get to the bottom line.
Free, free Palestine!
Let's get to the bottom line.
Free, free Palestine!
Let's get to the bottom line.
Free, free Palestine!